Divine Rebis is all about gender performance. Now, you're asking, what's a Rebis? What's gender performance? Well, first of all, a Rebis is an alchemical magnum opus that combines two opposite materials in order to create one in perfect harmony. And that's how I see gender, combining both feminine and masculine qualities in order to create something perfect. And gender performance, as described by Judith Butler, is described as something learned, that is something ingrained into us from the day that we're born. And we see this a lot with how we grow up as people, telling like boys don't cry, boys will be boys, girls have to play with dolls, girls have to do this, boys have to do that. That's gender performance. But Divine Rebis talks about gender performance in a literal sense. This is a catalog that documents queer art, history, and actual queer performance. And this ranges from drag, ballroom, and Vogue, which is essentially the same thing as ballroom. And so this not only talks about and celebrates queer art, but I wanted to bring attention to the current political unrest surrounding trans rights, and this catalog continues to update current day news regarding legislations, bad things happening. So it's good to mix the good and the bad when you're talking about this stuff, because that's important. We want to uplift voices and we want to celebrate what's ours, but we have to keep in mind what's actually happening in the world. So for Divine Rebis, I have collected interviews from my friends who identify as non-binary, and they're of course LGBTQ. And I asked them about their own gender identity and how they see gender performance and how they feel about today's current political unrest. And yeah, that is my Intervention 2 project. And in order to perform this blog, I have dressed up in more masculine clothing to sort of commemorate how lesbians used to dress back in the day. We see this in a lot of like early 20th century photography featuring two women.
The way that you see your gender and how you kind of like show other people your gender. It's kind of like how you communicate how you feel inside to other people, so like they understand what you feel without you having to like say your pronouns over and over.
How do you define your gender as a non-binary person?
Well, like the one I identify with is gender fluid, which is kind of like this weird little soup mixture of like all gender identities, but it falls under like the non-binary category. The way I guess like I present gender neutrally is like playing around with like expectations, because I know like most people see me and they, you know, like assume woman, which is fair, I don't blame them. But funnily enough, multiple times this has happened where like my friends will talk about me to other friends without showing my face, and other people will assume I'm a guy because I go by like a masculine name. But also some of the things I say or like some like things I do can be seen more masculine, which I think is a pretty fun dichotomy. So I guess like my personality is a lot more masculine in the traditional sense, but the way I dress kind of goes every which way. A big inspiration for me for the way I dress is Eugene Lee Yang from the Try Guys, because he fucks around with gender a lot, and he sometimes has these like very masculine silhouettes, or sometimes he'll just go like super I don't want to say like drag queen, but like he does drag, but sometimes he'll just do like something very like feminine and elegant, and I've been trying to like play around with that a lot more and reclaim that. So I feel like being non-binary allows me to express some things about myself that I used to be really uncomfortable about, because I assumed it would just kind of be like, yes, woman doing woman things, wear skirt, wear makeup.
How do you feel about the current political unrest happening around like Drag Queen Story Hour and everything to do with trans rights at the moment?
Oh my god, there's like different levels that a lot of people kind of operate on. Like there's people that just kind of see like the shit on Twitter and like, you know, how do I be activist without actually putting in work and stuff like that. Like I have trans rights in my like profile picture. And then there's like the level of, you know, being aware that like people in your life and you are in danger because of certain laws that are being enacted. And then there's like people actively, you know, being killed. I have never felt unsafe in the presence of a trans person, especially a trans person like that did drag. When I was little, I would like walk home from school and my friends and I would see like two, I don't want to say like obviously like queer presenting women, but yeah, and they had never made us feel unsafe about ourselves. I felt unsafe around cops, but nobody's talking about that because trans people are coming for your kids and they're going to vaccinate you. And I think that everybody wants to see like the identity first before they want to see the person. I feel like it's a lot easier to be mad at someone when you don't really, when you have like this, you know, blue-haired liberal trans woman that you can point at and be angry at and say, look how ugly they are, look how weird they are. And then there's like this whole array of trans people that are just kind of looking at you going, what? Why?
To me, gender really doesn't have to do anything with what I, you know, look like on the outside. My gender is, I really just use the label queer because I'm not comfortable putting a label on myself as far as gender goes. I'll use non-binary because it's an umbrella term, and it makes things a lot easier for people to understand. But honestly, my gender means very little to me. It's my expression that matters to me, and I express myself through fashion, whether it be, you know, seemingly more masculine or more feminine. I tend to feel the same on the inside no matter what clothes I'm wearing, and that's really what matters to me more than you know, my outright, you know, femme or masculine, whatever. It's just whatever.
Gender as a whole, it is so, the way how I view it, it is so incredibly complex, because the way how I view myself is also through the lens of someone who's third person, and it's really weird, mostly because I know that my voice is feminine, I know I look feminine, I know I have hips, I know I have, you know, like boobies. It's like the issue is that as much as I want to express my own gender and be able to have others view me the way how I want to be viewed, I know that it's going to take a very long time for reality to be that way, that no matter how many times I interact with someone, they will always view me feminine, even though I don't view myself like that. I view myself extremely masculinely, but not associated with any colors or not associated with my clothing. I just view myself how I am. I just am me. My clothes is just whatever I grab in the closet. If I view myself more as a character, and I view others as characters. When I see someone, I don't see them as a gender. Gender doesn't exist as a word to me. It's more of their style, or it's the way of their personality.
How do you feel about the recent attacks against trans people like all over the world.
It's the cherry on top of so much other issues that are happening that are affecting us, not just by gender, but by race and by age and by just generation, and just the fact that there's so much going on in the world that is affecting us at this moment. It's just, it's so depressing. It's like another thing on top of what's happening. It's horrible.
How do you feel?
I think the best way to put this is that we're going to be here no matter fucking what. We're going to exist no matter how many people are killed and told, you know, we're unnatural, or, you know, what's the point? Like, just detransition, you know, go back to, you know, just hide your identity, don't be you. You need to be you in whatever capacity you can be. If it puts you in danger to be outwardly yourself, value your own survival more than, you know, being your true self if it's going to put you in danger. We're gonna be here no matter what. There is no getting used, there's no getting rid of us. Recognize fascism when you see it. Stand up for your friends when you see it happening on a small scale basis. And remember that once they're done targeting whoever they're targeting, once they feel they've, you know, killed their fill of whoever they deem undesirable, they're coming for someone else next. It does not end with trans people. They're going to come for women's rights. They're going to start killing minorities. It doesn't end with us. They're going to get rid of gay people. They're going to do, you know, whatever they can to make their own little perfect society. And once they have the select group of people that they think are the desirables, they're going to start picking them off as well, because someone has to be oppressed. So keep being you and survive. That's the most important thing. The best form of rebellion is survival.
Thank you.